Dear friends and colleagues, welcome. This is our second session in this interviewing of academics and organizational leaders. Today we have a special guest with us. I would let him introduce, but before that, we want to give you a heads up. The topic is still today is organizational commitment. And we want to explore organizational commitment from different point of view and different perspective. And in that sense, we have a entrepreneur with us. He has done many things in his life. So let's hear from him. So Mr. Gafoor, would you please introduce yourself?
Hello, Dr. Rashid. Thank you for having me. Thank you for all the work that you do within the community. And, I've been following you for quite a while and really impressed by, all of your contributions. So in terms of introduction, I'll start off with my educational background. In terms of education, I've done BBA and MBA. Really had only one job over the years, you could say, after graduation. Since then, very entrepreneurial family. Me and four other brothers, we all own multiple businesses. For me, I've been in the motel business, have owned different retail businesses, including several C-store gas stations at a time. Right now, I have a quick service restaurant, franchise, several locations there. Also doing a real estate development, several apartments at single SFR, single family residence. So this is in terms of business background. This is what I've done and am doing today. So who knows, down the road, but this is, where we are today. So this is kind of a little bit about the background. I could, tell you more about each if you like to hear.
Oh, okay, great. I think that's as far as introduction goes. We can, expand more with your
Sure.
next questions. So based on the information you have provided, it seems like you are an employer. You do employ many individuals under your organizations.
Yeah.
So let's move to the next question we can raise that we also raise to the other individuals. So do you think organizational commitment level is different for your employees in your organization versus the other employees in other fields in business?
Well, for me as an entrepreneur, basically you're it. Your hopes, dreams, your passion, your drive, your commitment. Nobody's there telling you. Everybody wants to be the boss, I've learned, but being the boss is it's a lot of challenges, lot of down days. I've kidded around with. I think I've done that with you. That over the years, it's you got to be low IQ and a risk taker. I guess it's you got to get ready to be beat up many days. But again, it's basically your own commitment to your goals and your dreams. So in terms of how is it similar and different from bigger organizations? I think we all have the same challenges. How do we not only survive and thrive? I'm looking at this second part of the question as just connecting to the first part. Uh, Starting out, it was just me as an entrepreneur. But as I've grown a little bit, I've learned that like sports, business is also a team sport. So you realize that, hey, I can't do this all by myself. How do I bring other like-minded people in that will stick around for a while? And so the organization, the business could grow. And tried different things over the years to hold on to good people for long as possible. You can't blame anybody for wanting to leave, and so you want to create the kind of environment where people would want to, come to your organization and stay as long as possible. So for that, creating a win-win type of an environment, I believe, just like, I'll go back to sports again, where, life and business isn't like sports. Sports teach you great, skills that are transferable to business and life. But, we could both win. Both parties could win in business and life. So creating an environment with other team members, with other employees, that, hey, let's create a win-win environment. And the way I've tend to, I've done that with bonuses. Hey, I'm not the only one who's going to make a living here. My family's and the only one who's going to be, living off of this. It should be win-win for both of us. So how do we do that? It's, bonus type. I've used everything from bonuses to, then, project-based type of, compensation as well. Starting a new project, giving other team members a percentage of a piece of the pie, where they feel, they have skin in the game. So what I'm trying to tell you is, for organizational commitment, it's, they have to feel they're part of it. For them to be committed. A wise person once said, you could buy somebody's back, but that's where the work comes from, something along those lines. But to get into their minds and hearts, if you could get there, you'll that's where their passion, their drive, their hopes and dreams are. So how do we tap into that part of it? So so at the very least, I think, you have to put your money where your mouth is, as well. You have to align your goals along with the other team members' goals. And not everybody will buy into that idea, but to have especially some key people to buy into your plan, so you have shared goals. So anyways, I think I may be going off on a tangent here.
No. So it looks like the answer, what you are trying to indicate is, as an entrepreneur, your commitment level or in your line of business is a little bit more or higher, what you indicating, versus the other individuals who are just working for an organization, rather than they are building, team, they are the owner of the, company, those kind of comparisons. So am I right? You are trying to indicate that the organizational commitment level for you and for your employees in your line of business, you are saying that it is a little bit higher than the other, like, for example, academics, or like the physicians, or the engineers, or the government employees, or the chaplains or imams. If you compare, would you say your organizational commitment level is a little bit more higher, or would you say it is as same as theirs?
So basically, you've heard that, the different businesses that I've been in, from motels to retail businesses to quick service restaurant franchises, and then now on the development side, the real estate development side, those are two different types. And once on the retail side, on the franchising side, the pay isn't very good. It's like a revolving door. I mean, we all know about it. Let's be honest about it. So how long people come, people go. So how long the goal is, how long do we, hold on to good people as long as possible. So that's where the bonuses come in. Hey, for instance, for quick service restaurants, let's keep the sales up. If the sales are good, we have to watch our food cost and labor. So these criteria are met. This is a gross profit. So yes, when I get a bonus, when I get a raise, you get a raise. So having again, back to that win-win type of a thing. And then if you on the switch, you reverse that with the real estate development. There you could bring in partners, project-based type of partners, and and different, subcontractors. If we meet these goals, again, there's, if the project is done within the duration of what we set out to do, there are also bonuses there. So I could only speak for myself. I think similar challenges with, as with the others, but anyhow, I think again I'm going off on a tangent here.
No worries. It seems like right now I'm a little bit more clear. It seems like it's in parallel with the other professions out there.
Yeah.
That we can compare with. Like, for example, in our first interview, we brought in a full professor from Texas Christian University. And when I raised the same question, he said that no, the organizational commitment to him and at his professions, it is a little bit more higher than the others who are working in non-academic area. So that's what, we're going to be comparing one answer with another answer, just to, get the feeling, in different fields, in different roles, different, types of jobs, how individuals' organizational commitment level varies. So in that sense, I think we get the feeling, the way you build your team, how you make partnership, what type of incentive you provide.
Yes. So again, the numbers from just a few days ago, I think there were 35 to 36 million Americans, that are unemployed today. Those are, my gosh, these are not recessionary type of numbers. These are, I hate to use the D word. Me and you had this discussion a couple of weeks ago where the environment today is not like, that we've seen in our lifetime. The situation that we have today is from similar to 1920s and 1930s. We're both students of history. And, again, history doesn't always repeat itself, but it rhymes. So when you have those type of, this is just, this very, very high numbers, in terms of unemployment. And yet here we are, even today, most businesses, including mine, were having a difficult time finding, great employees. That's a different conversation. But, organizational commitment, here we are where we are today as we speak, 2020, May. So the challenges are there, just trying to figure it out every day. Nobody has the answers. We're just trying to be better, operators and owners and managers and leaders. But yes, 35, 36 million, Americans are unemployed, and yet we're struggling to find good employees, So organizational commitment, good conversation today.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yep. That's definitely can deserve another talk, and
yes. Separate conversation.
All right. Okay. So that leads to our next question. That is, related to the faith. The question is there a link between organizational commitment and an individual's faith, especially for yourself, Islamic faith? So, for example, in our first interview, we have interviewed a professor, and he was also in Islamic faith. And I have done in my research, faith-based research, and I have seen different responses from different faith. But in general, majority of the faiths, they are in parallel when it comes about the commitment, respecting, accountability, responsibilities, all those cases. So for your case, do you think, is there a link between your faith and your organizational commitment level?
I think you gave me the answer already. Like all people of faith, whether they're, Jews, Christians, Muslims, what I've seen, people who are playing the game, whether it's business, let's call it a game, there are really people who are really crushing it, doing very well in their respective fields. I've seen, just, for us and other, our brothers and sisters in faith, what I've seen is, God, family and business, in that order. Just summing it up. This again, this is a very, this question could really go go on, for 30 minutes or more. So yes. And then another group that I found is, they don't have a particular name. They're not very spiritual beings, but they try to live a life of a principle-based life, you could say. And then again, to understand, this spiritual group and this other group, and how, and their views on business and organizational commitment, just kind of tying it both together. So the principle-based group will say, we're just gonna live a principle-based life, and our own observations is, just like their laws of physics and gravity and what have you, there are certain principles that were true 3,000 years ago, and they will be true till we believe as Muslims that they'll be true till the Judgment Day. You could either live your life according to those principles and live a good life, not only survive and thrive for yourself, for your organization, and to if you want to test them out, you could do the opposite and try to live against those principles, which you will break yourself against them. So again, for us as our brothers and cousins in faith, the Jews to Christians, and then us as Muslims, the way we approach life and business, yes, faith plays a central role. The way we live our life, run our businesses, run our households. So yes, and then in terms of organizational commitment, always doing the right thing. It's whether you're a small business, you're an entrepreneur, you're a large organization, or nonprofit, well, for profit at least, you got to make a buck. But that's not the only reason we're in business. It's like we need food to live, but we don't live to eat. So for me and you, faith plays a big role to our commitment to God, to family, to business, and how we treat rest of our team members. So anyways, am I sticking to the point, or am I just going all over?
No, definitely. Like I said, researches that I have conducted and have seen, there's a parallel based on the major religions and the faith-based individuals.
Yes.
The higher level of their faith, it seems like to be higher level of their commitment toward the dedication that they sign up for. So
yes,
that an individual accountable, he or she is performs to the best ability she or he can, provide. So from that sense, it seems like we are on the same page, So yep. So looks like we got the answer for that question, and that leads to us the fourth question. That is really personal. I mean, no offense, but we like to ask this question just to understand an individual's organizational commitment type. So we did define effective commitment, continuous commitment, and normative commitment. So out of the three commitment types, how would you categorize yourself? Would you be emotionally attached, is effective, or would you be more fearful that if you do not have commitment, you're going to lose your business, lose your salary, that's why you have to be commitment? Or would you be like normative commitment, like you have invested, you have done so much for this organization, and if you remove yourself, organization will miss out, and you don't want to see the benefit you provide to your organization goes away, so you stick to it and provide as much as possible. In other words, serve it until you retire.
Well, I would have to look at the explanation again, but as listening you speak and give this definition, I think it may be a combination of few of those. You know, so yeah, with effective commitment, I think you said was you know, there's an emotional attachment to the organization. Uh, you know, starting out as an entrepreneur, it's just, you know, like I told you earlier, it's your passion, your drive, your goals and dreams, you know. So yes, there's certain, you know, you are emotionally attached to it. It is your baby. Then as I heard your I think it was normative.
Normative
uh,
is the third one.
Normative, that I think that also rings a bell with me. So I think it may be, you know, a little bit of both.
Oh, I see. I
You know,
see.
yeah. I know. I may be wrong there. I may have to look at the definition again.
No,
But
no, no. Right. You are right. Majority of the individuals I have come across, including myself, if somebody
yeah,
asks, I do categorize myself as a normative because for example, in our first interview, we have seen a professor coming up, categorize himself as a
yeah,
normative because he thinks he has invested enough
yeah,
resources, enough time, served there for over almost like 3 decades, and he doesn't want to remove himself from the role. He wants to stay there until he retires. So from that point of view, it seems like normative would be a good answer, and definitely effective as well. Like you said, you are emotionally involved with the organization. Uh,
yeah.
but no, but
Yeah.
for yourself, you are not only focused on effective, but you are also normative because you have invested yourself a lot.
Yes. Yes. Very much so. Very much so. Very
So,
good.
so that's a good answer, and
Thank you.
the mixed answer. So that's good. I think our audience can learn a lot about different individuals. They could be mix of multiple types. All right, thank you very much. Okay, that leads to our last question, and which is as an entrepreneur, you've been there for almost like 2 decades. You've been doing
Yes.
business. So those individuals who are just graduating college with a bachelor degree or master's degree, for them to enter, workforce, what do give them a suggestion, or what would you advise them? Because this is a globalization era. Many opportunities out there, many passions out there. I have seen many. There are high turnover in all fields.
Right. Right. Right.
How would be your suggestion toward these individuals?
Well, here again, here we are in May 2020, going through a global pandemic, um, and there's certain, there's a lot of anxiety and other things. Well, I think we may be talking about a bunch of stuff in the future. God willing. But graduates are coming out, and seems like a lot of the old rules from a couple of months ago don't apply. But again, going back to history, history doesn't always repeat itself, but it does rhyme. We've gone through pandemics before. How did we come out of it? We've gone through recessions and depressions before. How do you survive it? So as I think today is the best time in history to be alive, and I could argue that as well. What I would tell the younger version of me and my kids today, it's again, being very blunt, you don't need 180 IQ to succeed. I wish somebody told me that earlier, and I'd be at a different place today. I certainly don't have that IQ. It just, what you need is, you need drive, ambition, self-confidence, energy, and motivation is more important than just raw talent, raw intellect. So, with those things, and a bunch of hard work, I think, set big goals for yourself, and you can make anything happen. I'm a big believer in that. God willing. We always, start and end with that. Again, being people of faith. Even our brothers and cousins, Christians and Jews, God helps those who help themselves, but yes, uh, great times. How you look at it?
Yeah. So,
Yep.
would you encourage them if they had the opportunity to stick to a job longer than they expect, to stick to it, to be more committed, to be more enthusiastic, to stay with one organization, they get into it. If they get fair treatments, obviously, if the organization give them enough opportunities and there are no glass ceilings, anything like that, should you recommend these folks to stick to one organization, or a few organizations, rather than jumping from one organization to another organization and have lots of different experiences and no solid commitment to one specific type of organization?
Well, again, being an entrepreneur, small business owner, I see a lot of, it's like a revolving door. I do see that. And, you have a lot of job hoppers. I interview every day. I look at resumes every day. I look at applications every day. When you see a person who's, how long have you been at this organization? Month, 2 months, 6 months, a year? Well, there's a certain expense to hire you, to train you, and then can you at least stay for at least this time period? That's a typical question that I ask. So you can't blame anybody to wanting to better themselves, but your character, your reputation, I think is very important. And not to say people can't change, but looking at how you behaved over the last job or your last previous jobs, most of the time it's a telling sign is how this individual is going to behave at your organization. So what I've learned is like I told you earlier, intellect is really overrated. Person's commitment, whether to organization, to commitment to themselves, to their goals, to the to their dreams. If they're willing to stick to those, I've learned that they'll stick to, if they tell me, hey, I'll at least be here for 6 months, a year, a couple of years, they stick to that. But in terms of, I think you asked, going back to a younger person, my advice to them, have big goals, have big goals. We were, again, our approach, our upbringing, our faith, we're humble people, we're God-fearing people. And, as my Christian and Jewish friends say, you shoot for the stars, you may not get there, but at least you'll make it here. But if your goals are so low, that's all you're going to get to. And, and don't listen to the naysayers. There's people all around us, from our families to friends. Oh, don't do that. You'll get hurt, or, business, business life, entrepreneurship, there's certain risks involved. But, with the BBA, MBA, and, 2 decades of working, it took me a while to figure out, there's such thing as this risk management as well. But have big goals and dreams, and don't sell yourself short, whether you want to, stick with one organization and make and climb the ladder, or you want to go build your own wall, and be there. These are your choices. These are your choices, and you can make it happen. Again, your drive, your ambition, your self-confidence, and your energy. Whether you want to be a part of one organization or create your own, I think those are both personal choices. For me, I could tell you, you see what I'm doing. Whether I just work just as hard 20 years ago that I do today. I work a little bit differently today, But you know, I feel like I haven't achieved anything. But you know, I've learned how to play the game. You know, somebody upstairs, you know, may he give us time to play the game now. Again, back to the younger crowd. You can make anything happen, God willing.
All right, all right. Well, that's excellent. So the good advice, I think, if I can recap, is, you know, the younger generation who are entering workforce, be honest, be frank, and be committed to the organization you're doing. Have a good reputation, because your reference would be checked. So
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
that's the key.
Yeah.
And it's always, you know, yeah, here and there we have seen some cases where individuals don't feel like their goals and objectives align with the organization's goals and objective, where there are no growth opportunities or promotion
Yes.
opportunities. So be frank with the management, be frank with the team leads, and let them know that you are open for the new opportunities. And, you know,
I will add to that, Dr. Rashid, is that you know, when you have employees come in, two types of people that I've seen. You have one group that says, you know, from first day, what's in it for me? What's my pay? What's my benefit? You know, you have this group. And the other group that I've seen is they don't ask for anything. You know, they don't ask those questions. You know, these are the people, this is the person that always calling in, what's in it for me, me. And the other individual, you know, hey, how can I help the organization? You know, somebody calls in, somebody doesn't want to come in, hey, call me. I'll be there for you. You know, what I've seen, this is the person that becomes indispensable. You know, so the advice to my kids as well as the younger group, be one of this group. You know, with this, there's the sky's the limit for you. You know, you won't be hitting the ceiling over here. Be part of this group. You know, what can you do for the organization? You know, this type of person will have too many options. They won't have to ask for a raise. They won't have to ask for a promotion. You know, so, you know, we as leaders, as managers, as owners, we want to be looking for these type of people over here. You know, so I think that the best answer I could give you is, in addition to, you know, the drive, the ambition, the self-confidence, energy, motivation, all those things. But, you know, come in with the attitude is, what can I do for you? What can I do for the organization? You know, this group, as soon as you realize, you either don't hire, or you say, okay, you know, we need to you know, cut our ties as soon as possible. Again, just being blunt, you know. I wish somebody was that way with me, you know. That's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
That's why we are trying to create this program, so that we can hear from owner and entrepreneurs.
Yes, thank you.
What our young generation should know that, and that's how they should be approaching the workforce and their hiring managers, their, you know, organizational leaders. So, you know, the organizational leader can know them, they can know, you know, the organizational leaders, and they both can, you know, drive their, you know, goals at the same time and achieve success, you know, at the end. So I think we are almost at the end of our program. I really appreciate, may God bless you, Mr. Shahjad Ghafoor, and appreciate your experience you have shared with us. And thank you again from this Al Mu'min Media. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Rashid, for everything that you're doing. You know, I wish this type of show was available when I was growing up. Thank you for all you do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks.